An in-depth look at Touchstones for Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition. In Werewolf, the Apocalypse Touchstones serve to help them keep their spiritual selves in balance with their wolf and human natures. Touchstones allow Guru to maintain their connection with Gaia. Touchstones have some personal connection to the werewolf and most likely have no knowledge of the supernatural. This doesn't mean that they can't know of the world of darkness, but most Guru choose to not allow them to learn of it for their safety. Touchstones can be anyone that the Guru has a personal connection with, like a parent, friend, or a crush. The relationship that the Guru has with the Touchstone can be as complex or one-sided as the player wishes. As a storyteller, I like to add to what the player wants to make the relationship more intimate. If a player wants to have a one-sided type of relationship, in order to not have to deal with the Touchstone, I will keep notes of things that they have been doing and keep the player informed about them. They can keep their distance, but they have opportunities to step in and help at any time. Anything else that players choose, I make sure to include in each of my games so that Touchstones are not just placed on the back burner and forgotten about. Risks involving Touchstones. A Touchstone can be lost. The Touchstone can drift apart from the Guru or change to the point where they no longer fill the role of an emotional anchor. If they marry or move across the country where the Guru has little access to them as they once did, this could cause them to be lost to them. They can die. The Touchstone can die from natural causes or due to their involvement, intentional or not, with the Guru. They can even in very rare cases turn into something else, such as a vampire or another werewolf, and while they might still play a role in the Guru's life at that point, their new inhumanity makes them unsuitable as Touchstones. A Touchstone can be replaced if they were to die or become lost, but this should not be as simple as a player saying that they replace one. This should be role-played out in the story thoroughly, so that within the confines of the story, so the player understands how much involvement it takes to replace a Touchstone. If the Guru were to lose their mother, they are not going to be able to just tell the storyteller, "I want my aunt to be my new Touchstone." I would insist that a story form about why the aunt has taken on the mother's role as a Touchstone, and a bit of time for this to take place. Restrictions. It is suggested that only one wolf-related Touchstone be taken, even if the Guru was born a wolf, as their lifespan is much shorter and more dangerous. The overall lifespan of a wolf is 8 to 12 years, but some sources say realistically 3 years depending on breed and locations. Objects or places could be argued to fit in this category, but myself, I do not allow them at all in my werewolf games. In Vampire, where the Touchstone is the link to holding on to their humanity, these are more acceptable. Makes sense an object or place has a link to something that they love and reminds them what it is to be human. The Guru need more than just memories, in my opinion. The benefits of a Touchstone. The player may take advantage of each of the benefits below once per story, no more than once per session. A Guru may lower their rage to 1 by spending a scene or period of downtime with a Touchstone. This is the time when role-playing can be used to explain that the Guru talks with their Touchstone about their anger and the Touchstone talks them down. Another example could be a problem is discussed with the Touchstone, and the Touchstone helps them solve the problem. However, the scene is handled, the result should be the Guru and Touchstone talk, and the Guru is much calmer when they leave. A Guru may restore or heal a point of aggravated willpower damage by spending a scene or period of downtime with a Touchstone. This benefit is in addition to the standard willpower recovery. A good example of what takes place for this effect is that the Touchstone tells the Guru a story to build them back up, remind them who they are, and give them a boost to their morale. Another example could be the Touchstone allowing the Guru to eat a meal in peace and talk while watching their favorite TV show. A Guru may spend a scene or period of downtime with a Touchstone and move one mark on either the Hirano or Hoglosk tracker to the other. This is the most difficult role-playing as the Touchstone talks to the Guru about their issues, and the effect is that the depression felt by the Guru switches to a strong determination, or the other way around. These discussions can be difficult to swing on the fly, so the player and storyteller must have a mutual understanding about what is going to occur beforehand. These benefits are a huge improvement to what was given in Vampire the Masquerade for their touchstones. These give a relatable bonus to what their purpose is and to encourage role-playing. Risks of a touchstone. Of course, we can't speak of the benefits without the risks of having touchstones. When a touchstone is threatened or injured as a result of the Garu's actions or inaction, the Garu faces a risk of Harano. This causes a Harano test, and the player must roll 1 die for every filled box in their Harano tracker, as well as the Hoglosk tracker. Minimum of 1 die. A success, and nothing is gained. A failure and a box on the Harano tracker is filled in. When a touchstone is lost as a result of the Garu's actions, or inaction, the Garu automatically gains a point of Harano or Hoglosk to be agreed upon by the storyteller, based on context, on the relevant tracker. Touchstones should be put in as many games as possible. They should be in the game enough that all of the other players know who they are talking about when brought up. The word touchstone shouldn't be used unless explaining a mechanic above board. When they can't be part of a game, have one call and check on the character. Write up a short story about interactions during downtime and ask the player to tell a story or something about their touchstone during a game where they cannot communicate with their touchstone. Touchstones should be memorable to each player and possibly to the other players at the table as well. Give them quirks or things to make them stand out. Make the player want to interact with them as much as possible, but also realize that if they use them as an ally or contact, that it could put them in danger. That is the fine line that has to be created by the storyteller. If a Garu has an enemy, they could target those they care about. As a storyteller tip, don't have touchstones targeted constantly. Having your wife or daughter kidnapped by the big bad can be an awesome game, but doing this kind of stuff a lot leads to players seeing it coming and just makes touchstones a burdensome issue to contend with. How to create a touchstone. Who the person is should be the first thing thought of. Is it a parent, spouse, friend, or a retired neighbor that you like to sit and talk to while having a beer? Then give the person a sex, name, and a brief thought to why this person is your touchstone. Mom can easily be your touchstone, but the reason why your mom fills this role makes her special to you. Does she treat you like her baby whenever you are alone together? Does she cook for you and have you eat while you pour your heart out to her? When she gives you advice, does she put it into a story form so you understand her meaning better? Does she always have your favorite chocolate chip cookies ready for you when you need to stop by to talk to her? These are but a few ideas as to why mom would make for a good touchstone. Lastly, you or the storyteller should come up with a quirk or flaw for your touchstone. A person is hardly memorable without some kind of quirk or even a flaw that makes them stand out. Keeping with the mom theme, here are some examples. Mom calls daily, checking in on her little girl. Mom likes to sneak a couple drinks in here and there before bed. Mom has affairs on her husband and confides in her daughter. Mom likes to talk a lot and will talk to anyone as if they are her best friend, even when meeting someone for the first time. These do not have to be drastic things to accomplish their purpose. They can be simple things like, Mom always puts on reading glasses when asked to look at anything important. Mom thinks that inappropriate things are funny and will giggle or snicker at inappropriate times. Mom is divorced and is always looking at younger men like a shark circling its prey. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of touchstones in Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition, or at the least you were able to learn something new, or just picked up on some ideas to try in your own game.